evening, and I'm Mitchell Ringos. Hundreds came out to a rally at City Hall today to show support for Ukraine and its people. Jessica Clement was down at City Hall and has the details.
A crowd of about 200 Thunder Bay residents showed up to City Hall on Saturday in support and solidarity for the people of Ukraine. Ralliers could be seen waving the Ukrainian flag and holding up blue and yellow signs. Emotions were definitely high as all who attended the demonstration expressed their disgust over the attack on Ukraine. Rally organizer and president of Thunder Bay's League of Ukrainian Canadians, Warywoda, was overwhelmed by the amount of supporters and says that it's a tough time for Ukrainians.
Who would ever believe that in 2022 we'd be fighting a conventional war that against an innocent nation, one striving for democracy? So one has to realize that this is a battle for Europe, for democracies abroad. It's larger than this. It's a big deal, and people's lives are at stake here.
Among the crowd were local politicians who all gave speeches in support of Ukraine. Liberal MP Cathy Hajdu called it a time of darkness for the world and said that Canada will do everything in its powers to help Ukraine fight back.
I think it's really important that allies and NATO work together to provide Ukraine the support that they need that's going to be the most effective and that allows them to fight for the democracy and their sovereignty in a way that results in success.
The demonstration ended with the crowd singing the Ukrainian national anthem.
The people are what matter. The country, the economics, the beauty, the resources, all of that is so important, but mostly the humans. And we need to protect them, and we need to allow them to live in a democratic world and in a place of freedom.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Local charity Grace Place hosted their 8th annual walkathon called Coldest Night of the Year to raise money for people experiencing hurt, hunger, and homelessness. This year, 288 walkers came out to raise money in support of Grace Place's day and overnight program, which helps provide a safe place for those struggling through poverty and homelessness in our city. Grace Place pastor Gary Macsemchuk said before the walk even started, the team had already surpassed their $70,000 goal, raising over $80,000 so far. Walkers started off at the Summit Church and then led their walk around the south side of the city. Participants were given the option to walk 2 kilometers or 5 and were later given a takeout chili meal when they returned to the church.
We were overwhelmed with the response this year. We have never surpassed our goal before the walk began, and so the citizens of Thunder Bay are behind to help the homeless and the hurting, and the people of Thunder Bay have huge, generous hearts.
Thunder Bay Fire Rescue responded to a structure fire involving a vehicle garage on the 800 block of Simpson Street, with flames threatening to spread to adjacent structures. At around 2 this morning, firefighters arrived at a structure that was heavily involved in visible flames and smoke, with a chance of that fire spreading. One person was inside the garage at the time of the fire, but firefighters confirmed that person was outside by the time they arrived and reported no injuries. Fire crews quickly began their fire attack, while a second crew supported, for a total of 6 pumpers, 1 aerial ladder, and a visit from the platoon chief. They were able to contain the fire from spreading, but the building and contents were completely destroyed. The same house was actually involved in a fire last week as well, but for now the scene has cordoned off as the fire is under investigation. The Kenora detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police is asking for public assistance in connection with a death investigation north of Sioux Narrows. On Tuesdays, members of the Kenora OPP detachment and Northwest Emergency Medical Services responded to a report of a person in distress on Highway 71, where they found 26-year-old Jesse Nagum from Winnipeg, Manitoba, who was later pronounced deceased. The cause of death has not yet been determined, and the investigation will continue. It's been almost 4 months since ground was broken for construction on the new Greenstone mine south of Geraldton. The massive open pit operation spent over a decade in development and will see tailings from the area's former gold mines extracted and processed. Adam Riley was in Greenstone and spoke with mine officials for a project update.
A lot has changed on the site of the Greenstone mine since October, aside from the change in seasons. Currently, work is underway to build the future power plant and administration building. Project manager Eric LaMontagne says things are still moving relatively smooth, even with supply chain issues, which have increased delivery times.
We're still on schedule. We're still on budget. All building is in line up to be erected in April, starting in April, May, June, and all during the summer, and still on target to close all building before the next winter.
Also underway now is the realignment of the Highway 11 corridor, which will go around the mine as it comes online. That project, according to LaMontagne, is set to be completed by the first quarter of 2023. He says once the mine is up and running, work will progress in an east to west pattern, meaning the last property to be leveled as part of the project will be the Greenstone OPP detachment. He says come this fall, mining operations will begin with the first year focused on the building of infrastructure for the open pit.
Is to create a waste rock in the pit to give to the construction to build different infrastructure. Example, will need to, what I said, pass the highway and help to build the buttress just at the bottom of the highway to stabilize the old tailing.
While the mine is still a long way from production, it is already having an effect on the economy for Greenstone. Deputy Mayor Jamie McPherson says things are coming together exactly the way he and others had hoped.
You can see a number of local people working employment, and you speak with members of the community who are now working there. And it's great to see, and that's the local employment that we were looking for, and that's just starting.
Currently, there are 300 workers on site, which is expected to peak this summer at 800 workers, with an expected 2,100 workers for the mine's 16 to 20-year lifespan. Adam Riley, TBT News.
The city of Thunder Bay has been recognized by a national body for its commitment to battery recycling. Earlier in the week, the city was granted the Leader in Sustainability Award by Call to Recycle Canada Incorporated. More than 11,000 kilograms of household batteries were collected locally through the Call to Recycle program in 2021, making Thunder Bay one of the top performers. City officials were honored to receive the award, but no, it's really a reflection of the residents of the city. Jason Sherban says they've been promoting their program for years and believes locals have taken notice.
I think we brought awareness over the years. You know, we had the curbside program, a number of years back, and I think that brought awareness. We developed the public space program. So, outside of bringing them to our household hazardous waste depot, we've got, I think, 7 locations out in the community that people can properly dispose of them.
Eco Superior is among those satellite locations where residents can drop off single-use batteries throughout the year free of charge. A private member's bill aiming to make winter driving safer on 2 crucial Northern Ontario highways was brought to Queen's Park. Mushkegowuk-James Bay M.P.P. Guy Bourgouin's Bill 59 was up for debate on Wednesday. The bill's aim is to improve maintenance standards on highways 11 and 17 and require those highways cleared within 8 hours of snowfall. This would reclassify those highways to Class 1, the same as all 400 series highways. Bourgouin argued that the bad road conditions put all drivers at risk and people who drive the northern highways are more likely to get into fatal collision. He says passing the bill will make drivers feel safer in the north.
Our families, our children, our loved ones are more likely to be killed in a car accident because our roads are not kept passable. This is about doing what's right. It's our responsibility as representative to aim for what is best for Ontarians. It's about saving lives.
The bill passed its second reading vote on Thursday and will be referred to the Standing Committee on Regulations and Private Bills. For the past couple years, the Real Memories of the Lakehead Project have been digitizing and archiving old newsreel footage that was donated to the Thunder Bay Museum by Dougal Media. Our own Jessica Clement spoke with project officials to see their progress and get a sneak peek at Thunder Bay's past.
The Real Memories team has been hard at work these past couple of years, digitizing hours of old news footage from the mid-1950s to 1970s. With the project, the team has now digitized 150 reels out of a total of 500 reels, with 200 hours of film left. The film was originally donated to the museum by Dougal Media after keeping it in storage for decades. The content of the reels vary from concerts to sporting events to business grand openings, and Reel Memories employee Brendan Cordeiro says that he's surprised by the number of reels that have been preserved.
We've looked at studies, and there's very few archives of this size, in North America. Few television stations have archives like this. Few museums have them. So, we're really lucky just to have this here in Thunder Bay, and we hope to share it with everybody in the community.
Cordeiro says the digitizing will take another year to finish, and after that, the footage will be available for the public to view through the museum archives. And he hopes that the footage will help residents experience the past in a different way compared to looking at photos.
I've gotten to look at, photos as a historian and documents and all that stuff, but seeing, live moving images really gives you a different look into the past. You can see people's expressions, you can see how big crowds were at events, you can see a lot more of the action of the history itself, and it just makes it so much more interesting.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Well, we're now joined by sports anchor Kurt Black. Now, Kurt, I hear you got some local hockey for us.
Ooh, a lot of good action, Mitch. With SIJHL playoffs now just around the corner. Two of the league's heavyweights went head-to-head last night, all out in Oliver Papoonge. We'll have highlights from the potential championship preview right after the break.